and the great Cornholio.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Welcome back, everybody. This is my first topic video, and I entitled it The Red Pill Factory. So, what is the red pill? I've heard recently a lot of red pill stories. A lot of people talking about taking the red pill. So, what exactly is this red pill? Well, the concept came from the movie from 1999, The Matrix. Here, let me show you a clip.
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
Want to believe? You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
PSA, never take candy from a stranger.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So Morpheus is talking to Neo, and he says that it is the world that has been pulled over his eyes to conceal the truth from him. And Neo asked the obvious question, what truth? Morpheus offers him the red pill. And if you remember the movie, what's going to happen is he's going to take the red pill. It's going to take him out of the Matrix. So then he's in the real world. This is the concept behind the red pill. And Morpheus says all he's going to do is offer him the truth. He's not offering him utopia. He's not saying this is the answer that you actually want. He's just simply saying that this is the truth. And I think that's what happens with this concept of the red pill. A lot of people, it's an inconvenient truth, something that is uncomfortable. So this is the concept of the red pill. So the fascination started with me about this idea of red pilling or taking the red pill when I started seeing a lot of YouTubers putting up videos about it. And it's funny because you kind of have this, over the last, I would say, 10 years or 12 years in politics, especially presidential politics, you'll have these movements such as the Bernie movement, or you would have like the Ron Paul movement that happened. And what ends up happening is people will gravitate towards their message, and that will be a red pill effect, essentially, to be told about something that is outside the norm. So a lot of these YouTubers come out of those kind of movements to where they'll be following Bernie, or they'll be following Ron Paul, or they might even be following Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, whatever. And then something will happen that will make them have to rethink what they thought they may have known. And so that's this concept. And so I'm going to link in the description a lot of these red pill videos, a lot of these videos where these people talk about their experiences. And it's not just moving to conservatism or moving to libertarianism or anything like that. It can just be moving off of a position. It could be simply going into a new economic theory, or maybe foreign policy wise, somebody starts to tell you something, or maybe there's an experience that happens that doesn't jive with what you thought was truth. And so that can be a red pilling experience. And so it's interesting to me because when I talk about this red pill factory, what exactly do I mean by the red pill factory? I wanted to investigate how these red pills are made, what brings them about. If you think about something like an antibiotic, the reason an antibiotic was designed was because there was an epidemic of disease that, this could cure. And so there has to be some sort of disease that this red pill cures. And I guess you could say it's deception, but it's not just like a small deception. It's not just a thing where it's like your parents misled you about one subject. It's more so like a whole entire worldview. And this concept of worldview, the basic assumptions, the building blocks of what you believe. And I have an example. I want you to imagine for a second that there's a kid, 8 years old, and his parents never let him go outside. He's always in the house. He doesn't go to school, doesn't do anything in this example. And he makes comment, as maybe a 5 or 6 year old, and he says, "Mom, I would like to go outside and play." And she says, No, baby, you can't go outside and play. If you go out there, there's a giant light in the sky, and it will kill you. It will literally give you a cancer that will kill you. Now, I use the word cancer deliberately, and we'll see this in a minute. So one day, when this little kid is 8 years old, somebody ends up coming into the house, another little kid who's also around 8 years old. And this kid is like, "Hey, you want to go outside and play?" And the other kid's like, "No, I can't go outside and play. My mom told me that I can't." And so they get to discussing the particulars on why this kid can't go outside. And this kid's like, "Well, if I go outside, there's a giant light in the sky, and that light in the sky will kill me with cancer." And the other kid tells him, "Wait a minute. I've been going outside my whole life." And so immediately that kid's worldview was just questioned. And he has to consider, like, well, wait a minute. This guy actually goes outside all the time, and he kind of looks at him and he notices that his skin is darker, his complexion is darker, and he's very pale. And he's just like, "So you've been outside and you're not dead?" This kid says, "Yeah, I go outside all the time. It's fun." This kid says, "Okay, I'm going to agree to go outside and see what's what." He walks outside. Yeah, the sun's bright. Yeah, if he overexposes, he's going to get sunburn. And yes, there's a kernel of truth that you can get skin cancer and it could kill you. So all worldviews and all these deceptions, usually they're based in some sort of truth. It's not just an outright lie in of itself. It's a version of the truth, or it's just enough of the truth that you'll accept it. And so this kid essentially was red pilled because somebody came and challenged his worldview and was standing in opposition to what he assumed to be right. And anytime you hear the debate is settled, or, well, you know what they say, well, everybody knows this particular fact, usually that right there should set off red flags, should make you think to yourself, well, is that true? It's never a bad idea to be skeptical. It's never a bad idea to question somebody's version or somebody's absolutes. And it's interesting to me because people that usually don't have good arguments or not very comfortable with their arguments, they won't even engage in debate. They'll simply call names. They'll simply say, well, you just don't know. Or I get this a lot. Well, you just have a simplistic view of the world and it's more complex. And yes, the world is complex. And yes, some things can't just be boiled down to, a black and white answer. There has to be nuance. However, it's interesting to me that usually these same people will believe something that is black and white. And they'll say, well, this is what it is. Well, what about this particular complexity? Well, no. It's just this or the other. The red pill factory is actually all those people that simply propagate a lie. And it could even be rooted in truth. But the point is, they're not critically thinking. They're simply saying, well, that's what everybody says. That's what everybody believes. So that's what it must be. And so I encourage you. I encourage each and every one of you. Somebody makes a claim and it just doesn't sound right to you. Or maybe you just want to be contrarian and say, I don't know that I believe that. Feel free to do that. Know you're going to have opposition, but also know that you're actually helping yourself to better yourself. As a rational or reasonable person, you want to investigate what you believe and make sure that you know what you actually know. Make sure that the claim that you tell people, the thing that you believe in, is actually right. And remember, It's not necessarily what you think, it's more so why do you think it. And if you can't give a good answer on why do you think of something, it could be false. So always be on the lookout for your own bias. Always be on the lookout for an opportunity to grow and learn something, get some nuance in your life. Maybe your position will change with more facts. And that's the way we're supposed to be. As a matter of fact, that's what science is supposed to be. Yeah, okay, so we have a theory. That's great. Let's get some more evidence. Let's replicate that. Let's keep asking, keep being skeptical. Let's never stop growing in knowledge. This concept of red pilling and the red pill factory, every time somebody says something that's not true and somebody else brings you the facts and shows you the truth behind it and says, no, that's a lie, here's the truth. That person that propagates that lie is actually producing red pills. In a sense, all the people that are speaking wrongly, no matter what the idea is, no matter what the ideology is, they're actually doing society a solid. So when people say things like, we shouldn't let that idea be spoken out loud, or we have to suppress this particular idea, I say no. I say without those bad ideas, we can never ever know the bounds of truth. We can never ever grow as an individual, as an intellectual. If somebody wants to say the world is flat, go on ahead so we can test that theory out and we can grow. Never stop someone from saying the world is flat. Simply check it out. Check out the evidence that they bring. Check out the argument that they have. Make sure it's consistent within itself. Make sure the evidence is what it's supposed to be. And ultimately you'll find, no, the world actually isn't flat. But it's okay that they say that. Wrong thinking doesn't hurt anybody other than the person that thinks wrongly. So why don't you do them a favor and give them a red pill?
Where the sky hook.
I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. And as always, like, subscribe, comment. Remember, unity and love. Thanks for watching.
I am the great Cornholio. Are you threatening me?
This video has been a Disruptors production.